when I would facilitate a support group called the Way of the Cross for the Grieving, we would do this exercise where I would give someone a cross to carry. It was a crucifix, probably about this big, and it was wooden, and I would put it on their shoulder, and I would say, okay, carry this around the room, but I want you to fight it. And so they would try to get it off of their shoulders, and I would push back down, and it just became a struggle. And then I would ask them to carry the cross on their shoulder, but just let it be. And so they would find a way to carry it that worked for them at that time. And of course, the difference was that all that fighting, all that energy that it took to try to get rid of it, it was spent on that rather than learning how to carry it. And I just think about that now as we're in the middle of Holy Week and carrying many crosses and many burdens. If you entered into Lent, you already had crosses, maybe from relationships or a job or an illness. And then we had this pandemic pile some more burdens on. This week is a wonderful time to sit and learn from the Master how to carry that cross. Jesus tells us himself in Matthew 11, "Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So he's asking us to take a look at how he does this, how he carries those burdens. And a beautiful way to do that is to really read the passion narratives in the gospel this week. Pick one of the gospels and find the passion narrative and dive in, imagining yourself in the story close to Jesus and watching how he handles all of those horrible things that happen to him. How does he do it? How does he carry on with grace? It seems impossible for us. In Hebrews, we hear that for the sake of the joy that lay before him, he endured the cross, despising its shame, and has taken his seat at the right of the throne of God. So he had his eyes somewhere else. He had his eyes on eternity. He had his eyes on us because he was doing this for us. Now you might say, okay, well that's Jesus, who is God, and so he can do that. He can call upon that power, that divine power, to walk through that. Well, he's also fully human. And we as human beings also have that divine power within us, that resurrection power, because of what he's done, to call upon, to guide us and strengthen us as we carry these crosses. And so we look to those. We look to that power to help us through this time. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4, it tells us we are not discouraged, for this momentary light affliction is producing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, as we look not to what is seen, but to what is unseen. For what is seen is transitory, but what is unseen is eternal. And so we can't eliminate the circumstances that we're in right now. We cannot change the crosses that we carry, but we can learn to carry them well and with grace. So just bring to prayer this week. Bring to prayer your concerns, your burdens, your crosses. Bring them to Jesus and ask in this time of suffering for him to transform this into something new and good and beautiful. So as we end this Lent, we remember that this Lent is unlike any other Lent that we have ever experienced. But we also need to fully experience this end, to fully experience this Holy Week, to learn what Jesus has to tell us about suffering, to fully experience it and help to be transformed in our faith and in our lives from all he has done for us. God bless.